Hello, my name is Dr. Kotwal and I am the chairperson of this Department of Urology at Artemis Hospital. We have an excellent team here and my team members would be talking to you about the various diagnostic methods and treatment methods for prostate cancer. I would like to tell you to answer some frequently asked questions because there is a lot of myth about prostate cancer and this certainly requires to be clarified. Firstly, how common is prostate cancer? As my colleagues would have told you, prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in men. But it is not uniform across the world. The highest incidence is in the American blacks who have a very high incidence of prostate cancer. Slightly more common also amongst the Caucasians. But as we travel east, the incidence of prostate cancer is less and perhaps the least is in Japan. We have an intermediate risk, so therefore it is not as common as in the West. And if you go by Western figures, in America, 1 out of every 9 males will be diagnosed as prostate cancer in his lifetime. That is not so. We do not see so much of it. Another thing is how dangerous is prostate cancer. Now, when we look at the incidence figures, second highest incidence of cancer in men is in the prostate, but not the number of deaths. The number of deaths lag far behind. So by and large, prostate cancer is not an aggressive cancer. It's not as aggressive as breast cancer or uterine cancer, and therefore this great fear that exists in society today is that it is going to kill, but it doesn't kill so rapidly. As a matter of fact, if you have a very low risk or a low risk cancer, the 5-year survival is 100%, and therefore it is only in the higher grades of cancer or where it is already spread that it is really lethal. What causes prostate cancer? Largely we do not know. There have been efforts to link it to various things like diet and so on, and obesity and smoking, but these are not established. What is most important is genes. As we know, we have chromosomes in the body, and each chromosome has got several genes, and we have certain genes that protect us from cancer and certain genes that make us prone to cancer. So amongst the multitude of genes that each one of us has, if a gene becomes aberrant, then that individual is likely to have prostate cancer. So basically one is programmed from birth to get prostate cancer when he is grown up. However, at what age does prostate cancer occur? About 2/3 of all prostate cancers occur over the age of 65. And as age advances, the incidence of prostate cancer increases. So therefore, age is a cause of prostate cancer. As age advances, the incidence of prostate cancer goes up. The other thing that I would like to talk to you about is what is PSA. There is this big scare about PSA. I have patients coming to me who get their PSA done every month or every second month because they are so scared of PSA. It is important to understand what is PSA. PSA is a protein that is put out by prostate tissue. A normal prostate also puts out PSA. Most of it is in the seminal fluid, but some of it is detected in the blood. A high PSA does not mean you have prostate cancer. So generally it is seen that if the PSA levels are, say for example for a 60-year-old person or a 65-year-old person are between are say normal, you still have a 10% chance of having prostate cancer. If the PSA levels are between 4 and 10, about 25% only of these individuals will have prostate cancer, and if it is between 10 to 20, about 50% have a chance of having prostate cancer. So PSA does not mean prostate cancer. PSA is just an indicator. So that is one thing that must be clearly understood because there is this great fear about PSA. Actually, PSA testing came about in the late 80s and it created a storm. We have so many people worried about PSA and not so many people who really have prostate cancer. How is prostate cancer diagnosed? Prostate cancer is diagnosed by 3 things. One is a doctor's physical examination, and the urologist is best equipped to do it for you. Second thing is a PSA which may be raised, and thirdly some tests, some imaging tests. So these are the ways we do diagnosis of prostate cancer, and to confirm our diagnosis we have to do a biopsy. Now remember that biopsy, there are a lot of apprehensions that biopsy will cause spread of prostate cancer. As a matter of fact, no, doing a prostate biopsy will not spread prostate cancer, and this has been proved multiple times. What are the stages of prostate cancer? As I said, we have, so long as the cancer is within the prostate, as you can see from this model, that here is a normal prostate gland, and that is the area which contains cancer. It is within the prostate gland. It has not gone outside. So we call it organ confined prostate cancer. And the outcome for organ confined prostate cancer is good in the sense that if someone has an organ confined prostate cancer, we can offer a cure with today's techniques. If, however, it has gone outside the gland, then it is called metastatic or widespread prostate cancer. In such a case, it does not make sense to remove the prostate because it's already spread outside. Even so, we have modalities which can control the disease and prevent it from going to a stage which can be lethal. Now, the thing is, who treats prostate cancer? Now, there are three types of specialist doctors who treat prostate cancer. The urologist, who does surgery; the medical oncologist, who gives you medicines, and these are only required when the disease is advanced; and the third is the radiation oncologist, who gives you radiation to kill the prostate cells. So when the prostate cancer is confined to the gland, as is in this case an organ confined prostate cancer, we can treat it either with surgery or we can hit it with radiation to kill the cancer cells. If it has gone outside the prostate, then we have to treat it with drugs to prevent them from growing and posing a threat to life. So that in a nutshell is the treatment of prostate cancer and the people who do it. Now there is over a period of years, considerable amount of research and a process of finding out which treatment is best. And ultimately, it is the job of the doctor you go to put all the options to you, and therefore the treatment of prostate cancer basically has to be a shared decision making. That means you as a patient must share in the treatment decision. It is the duty of the doctor to provide you with all the options. There is, of course, a certain amount of bias. I mean, the surgeon thinks that, oh, I can cure everything with surgery, or the radiation oncologist says I can kill all the cells with radiation, but that is not true. And therefore, treatment has to be sort of tailored for an individual case and for an individual patient. For example, even if a person has organ confined disease and it is possible, but he possibly has other things. He has got a heart disease, he's got a severe uncontrolled diabetes, he has got so many other factors. So even if it is organ confined, I would not suggest surgery in such a case. I would request my radiation oncologist friend to treat him with radiotherapy. As I was saying, that treatment of prostate cancer has to be tailored to the individual, and the decision has to be shared decision making between the patient and a well-informed doctor. In a nutshell, I suppose I have answered some questions that may arise in your mind, and if you require clarifications at any time, you're most welcome to meet me in person. Thank you.